Good morning, everybody. How are you after a busy weekend? I know I sound terrible. Oh my gosh. I am doing my best here to be with you today. It's going to be a challenging day for me for sure. As Mondays, and not only do I do this, but I also do the evening news. So hopefully Jesse, my co-host on CPS News with Jesse and Brent in English tonight at 7 p.m. Hopefully Jesse's going to do most of the talking. I'm going to be doing most of the tea sipping. But if you're wondering, I didn't even sip. Here we go. If you're wondering why I sound like this, well, I sound like this because I was the MC at Changing Lives this weekend. And oh my gosh, that was an amazing event. We're going to talk about it in a little while. Not yet, quite yet. But with a full day of interacting with the crowd for 8 hours and talking to everybody, it's going to take a toll on the voice. But hey, here we are. It's Monday. I'm back. I'm so happy to see everybody joining in. Looks like we're beginning to get a few people in, but you can watch us anytime. It's totally fine. So good Monday morning. It is March 2nd. We've made it to March. Pretty amazing. We made it past last week. Also pretty amazing. And PV Real News is entering week 2, evolving, changing, trying to keep up with the times. We were born about a conflict and we will evolve and keep going forward. I will say, I really didn't know how much I was going to do this, but man, the reaction I've gotten, like at Changing Lives, all the hugs, all the thank yous. So, maybe I'll be here a little more than I originally thought. So your support definitely helps with that. So, hey, if you like the new scratchy voice, let me know. It's not going to be permanent. I hope. I'm going to continue to try to pamper it, and hopefully by 7 p.m. tonight, I won't sound so crazy. But as usual, we're going to cover all the usual topics. We're not that usual because I'm so new, but usual is going to be some local news, a bit of entertainment and community, and I'll give you a TV and film recommendation. When I have a health update, I'll give you one of those too. So how are you guys doing? Are you guys doing pretty well after last week? Are you feeling a little less on edge? As I always tell you, I'm looking outside, another pretty cloudy day. We've had a lot of those. I've got the ticker of weather going by. But it is a pretty cloudy day outside, but beautiful day in Puerto Vallarta. It seems quiet, tranquil. I see the ocean. The other side, I see the airport with the current flow of passengers coming in and out. I'm still getting reports that departures are pretty busy, while arrivals are not quite to that level right now. So there you go. It is what it is. So let's talk about what's going on in the news. I was sitting by reading Banderas News this morning. I don't know if you guys ever seen Banderas News. It's kind of newer to me. Maybe I just had my head in a hole for a while. I've been focused so much on CPS, our news station. But I was reading this morning about it looks like Puerto Vallarta is finally getting some real movement on a new civil hospital. I don't know if you kept up with this. The city, state, and the University of Guadalajara are all teaming up, and they've picked a 4-hectare spot inside the COOC campus for this build. The goal seems simple. They want more medical specialists here in Vallarta to give families care without having to take off to Guadalajara or Mexico City. So I don't know if you and your family have a plan. I always say kind of if the shit hits the fan and it's an emergency, which hospital you go to. We've got Hoy, but this is just going to open up for more opportunities. There might be certain things you've told yourself like, hey, if this happened, I would go to Mexico City or I would go to Guadalajara, but maybe this is going to give even more options to the current healthcare. I think healthcare is pretty great here. Is it perfect? I don't think a lot of places are perfect, but I think it's pretty good. So right now they're just doing some early checks, site evaluation, just seeing if everything clears construction. They're going to kick off later this year. Governor Lemus has been here quite a bit, said they're holding off on major construction during the World Cup, of course. There's a lot going on. But they'll use that window to kind of finish paperwork, get the bids in, and hopefully everything stays on track. And this could be a big step forward for healthcare. What do you think about that? I mean, how do you feel about healthcare in Vallarta? I try not to commentary too much. Our awesome Pam Thompson's one of my correspondents out there giving me the news. I'm sure she's got a lot of info. And yeah, I think she would shoot us straight, where she feels healthcare is. Maybe we'll get her to give me a quote or two here soon. Okay, so with that, thanks, Shannon. It is great news. Good morning, Isabel. How are y'all doing this morning? Love to see you on. Let's talk about increased security. We've seen it. We didn't have to look very far to see our increased security out there, but we definitely got a major security boost last week. We had 300 Army troops and 40 tactical vehicles hit town, and they've been out patrolling our main road, the Medina Asensio and main corridors. And the city says it's definitely a coordinated move with federal authorities based on the recent incidents. Again, this is I'm quoting the government here. They're reminding everybody not to jump to conclusions or share unverified info. That's why you're here. You're here watching my news because you want verified info. And so I'm pretty careful about it. I don't know if I'll be perfect, but I'm definitely never going to be inflammatory. And if anything seems not real, I'm not going to share it. So, do I always have the answers? I get a lot of messages from you guys, hey, what's this fire? What's that? A lot of times I don't know. And I find out real time with you guys, but so far so good. It's all been, fairly calm since the incidents a little over a week ago. But we're just reminding everybody, don't jump to conclusions. Don't share unverified info. We know this stuff. Government has said the goal is to keep things stable and make sure Vallarta stays safe for both locals and visitors. But here's the question, put it in the comments. I mean, do you feel more safe now? Do you feel less safe? How do you feel about Vallarta and Valle de Banderas? This isn't just a Vallarta show. This is our whole area, so if you're up in Nayarit, say hey, Nuevo. Do you feel safe? And maybe the comments will be in the, down here, hey, Catalina, how you doing? And you guys can converse with each other too, because I don't have all the answers. So keep it real, folks. How you feeling? Week 2, eventually we're going to further and further distance us from this, and we're going to be talking about a lot of other stuff. But that's kind of why a lot of my news is, or at least one story from my news, a lot. That didn't have anything to do with last week, but we're right back into last week again. So here's a little uplifting update, regarding last week. For sure, the businesses. So this is about those businesses we've seen around town. So this weekend was my first time to really get out and about. We had a nice dinner for my wife at one of our favorite restaurants. Sometimes I just name drop because I'm not paid. So Bogotan de Pastas. Oh my gosh. One of my favorite. If you haven't had Argentinian pasta, oh my gosh, it's so freaking good. So big shout out to that team. It's a tiny little space, so make sure you have a reservation. But they don't even know I'm saying this, so this is completely unsolicited. But it gave me a reason to get downtown, drive around. I got to see firsthand some of the businesses that had burned, and so now they're going to get some real help from the city. So the owners of these affected shops, they're not going to have to pay for license or permits needed to remodel or rebuild. That's great news. And the city is stepping in to guide them through the paperwork so they can reopen even faster. So the city council, led by our own Mayor Munguia, approved the proposal from Councilman Victor Manuel Bernardo Vargas, who pointed out that these businesses, they aren't storefronts, they're jobs. This is people's lives, their income. There's spaces that are within walking distance to you, where this is where I get my Garrafone of water. This is where I pick up my snacks. And so, we all want them to come back, especially the locals and the families that own them, and they're just part of our daily life. So really the goal here, according to the government, is that they're really going to make a push to get these owners the tax breaks they need and support, so they're not going to carry the whole burden alone, which is great. So we'll see how that goes. They're just trying to make it as smooth as possible to get these businesses going. We want that. They want that. Our host community, Mexico, who we love so much, and the locals here that depend on that, they love it too. And of course, yeah, Shannon, I can see it right out my back door right now. The new airport is being built all the time. I wish I could report more on it. It's a bit of a skeleton still. I don't personally know if it's going to be done by World Cup. I think we reported on the news it was going to be delayed. Because a lot of those people that are going to World Cup for the matches in Guadalajara and the matches in Mexico City. You might want some beach time. That's going to be really great for our tourism. So our current airport can handle it, but sure would be nice to get the new airport opened up. I'll continue to keep my eye on it out back. I can't escape my view. I just happen to have this great view of the city on one side, the whole city, and the airport on the other side, which is great. Glad to hear you, Katie. They're coming in a couple weeks, and you feel comfortable with your choice. I feel comfortable with your choice too. All right, let's talk about entertainment and community for a minute. Let's have some fun. So, why does Brent's voice sound terrible? And how the heck is he going to do the news tonight at 7 p.m.? It's to be determined. We have 2 interviews tonight, 2 really important ones. I'll cover that here in a minute. But yes, all day yesterday, I had mentioned it. Well, heck, all day Saturday, I was busy too. I was actually filming a television show. We filmed 4, I guess, essentially pilots. This has been long in process, way before this show existed or anything happened last week. So no, it doesn't have anything to do with the events here in Puerto Vallarta. This is something completely different, and a project that I've been working closely with a collaborator or 2 here in town. So Saturday, we got to go in the studio here at the same place we filmed CPS and film 4 full episodes. It was like 4 or 5 hours of a lot of conversation and talking. I'll divulge more about this show as the editing gets complete and we see how it looks, but I think it's going to be pretty fun and cool. Everybody I have told about it, a very small group, seems pretty excited about it. So that was a lot of talking on Saturday. And then Sunday, as many of you know, I was the MC and host once again for Changing Lives, which is, again, one of my favorite events all year. It's for great charities, benefiting Angel's Kitchen. It benefits, obviously, English Learning Tree and teaching local Spanish kids to speak English and teaching you out there to speak Spanish. So that was 8 hours of me emceeing. We probably had 10 or 11 bands out there. The vibe was amazing. And in the comments, right, pretty much near the top, I shared the Facebook video I did. So I did this giant video selfie of me with everybody, me from the stage, kind of yelling. Sorry, it's kind of obnoxious, but the goal was to get everybody up, everybody saying, we are PV, we are not afraid, we're still out and about having a great time. And, when people write me, like, they're coming and they're on the fence. I see you, Mindy. These are the kind of videos I say to share. Share that one. My friend Debbie, you'll put out a nice video following around our Secretary of Tourism for all of Jalisco, Michelle. And so, Michelle was out there. Michelle Friedman was out there. So I just got to go from the top of my head. Sometimes I've interviewed her in the past. Was out there just talking to people. Are you afraid? How do you really feel? And he put out a really good video. We're going to highlight that tonight on CPS News at 7 p.m. as well. So, keep an eye on that. We'll be playing it. But I put a link to my video down in the comments and just kind of getting everybody up and showing it. It's not to be insensitive that, hey, we're a bunch of like gringos here and, yay us. I just think it's good for everybody. If tourists feel like coming back, they feel safer. They can stop asking, is this safe? Is it not safe? I feel like it's good for everybody. I always expect to get a little backlash with things, especially when you're yelling in English to everybody. But I don't know how to ride that fine line. If one of my listeners, viewers out there has got the recent price for Rhythm of the Night, I would say go to Vallarta Adventures website, Rhythm of the Night. That's where you're going to buy it from. It's their show. And I think buying it direct from them is really great. But if you've got another avenue and you can help out, Mindy, sounds like she's coming in and she wants to go see a great show. How great is that? Somebody's asked me about Rhythm of the Night. Are we returning to normal? Yeah, completely, but we're getting there. Carla, hey, I see you, Carla. You came out on Thursday, amazing and beautiful as ever. That's great to hear. Okay, generally now I'm wrapping up the show. We're about at the 15-minute mark right now, and I'm trying to keep these things short and sweet and to the point. I've been doing TV film recommendations, and so this time's going to be a little different than the last ones. Last one time I gave you F1, the movie. I thought it was a great escapism for right now, as well as the F1 documentary is super fun too, Drive to Survive. We just started season 8. I'll update you on that as I go, but how's about I recommend something I haven't even watched yet? So you ready to binge it out? So Prime and AMC Plus has, I don't remember how many seasons they're into, at least 3, 4 or so. So it's a good binge right now if you're looking for something to do. The Night Manager, it looks really interesting to me. If you've seen it, let's hear it in the comments, but don't spoil it. I love the actors. Tom Hiddleston always does a great job. Hopefully I didn't butcher his name. It's kind of a thriller based on Jean Le Carre novel. I probably said that wrong. My French isn't great, but it's a hotel night manager pulled into an undercover mission against international arms dealer, played by Hugh Laurie. We know him. Sharp, intense, well acted, well written. Check it out. I mean, if we're watching this one, we're watching it together because I haven't seen it yet. There is a schedule of events. There's a lot of scheduled events out there. We've got one, and Mindy asked this again. There is a schedule of events. So the schedule of events I'll share with you is from Vallarta Calendar, who so graciously provides that for no cost on our Jesse and Brent website for our news. It's right here. Let me get the, hey, this is real time. Let me get the link. I'll put this right down in here. Hopefully this calendar's still running. Yeah, it is. It is great. So I just added that calendar events. It's also where you find every episode of CPS News. So if you click on the CPS News tab on that same page, thank you, Mindy, for teeing that up. I didn't even ask for it. You're going to see like when the newscasts are. A really easy way to find the newscasts. And they're a lot different than this show. So that's it, I think. That's the show for today. I hope you enjoyed it. We're keeping it casual. We're keeping it easy. It's mixed in with a little bit of real news, too. If I saw you and you came by and you said some words of encouragement to me out of changing lives, thank you. You filled my soul. I mean, that was so cool. I've been on the fence. You know, how often do I want to do this? Man, the more you guys, you know, reach out to me and say things like you did during that event and how much it helped you and how much you want to keep it going, that really helps me a lot. I don't personally say, you know, try to compare myself to Paco Ojeda and Coffee and Headlines because I think that was an amazing thing. And those are too big of shoes to fill. But you guys have been mentioning it, that there's just a need in that space. This is going to be different. Even my opening music is different and not everybody's going to love it. But, you know, this is me. I'm a little different too. Okay. With that, thank you so much. You're welcome for that. Thank you for commenting on Rhythm of the Night. I'll probably see you guys again tomorrow, 10 a.m. usual slot. Thanks for following. Thanks for sharing. And we'll see all of you very, very soon. Take care. Bye.